Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Saturday night. Let's see if y'all can see me, hear me, all that sort of stuff. Let's see. Ta 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 ta. Waiting for there we go. Jacob gives me the 5x5. And all right. So start here. If anybody's wondering, Lucky Dame Preparedness, that is our Patriot sandwich maker. So we have a new name there for her. So we haven't changed moderators. We just have a new name. So that is all good. And obviously, Jacob's in here. I haven't seen North Shore yet, but I'm assuming he'll probably drop by any second. And we will be good there. So hope everybody had a good Saturday. God knows for me, it was working with my hands, okay, hauling more and more wood chips nonstop. And then, of course, it started pouring rain. And so that put a kibosh on all of that. So, but trying to keep the gardens afloat, I guess, if you will, and do all that. And then I was pulling weeds like crazy. So, again, the world of gardening never stops, trying to make sure what's going on. So, but that does bring us to one of the things I wanted to talk about today to start at least my little soliloquy here. Obviously everybody is hopefully into somewhat harvest time. Okay. For me, I mean, y'all know I already got my potatoes. We're now starting to pull tomatoes, getting half a dozen tomatoes a day or so. I think we pulled 7 or 8 that were ripe off the vines today. Plus Mrs. P got a whole boatload of cherry tomatoes, so that was good. So we're putting the big tomatoes away. We're eating the cherry tomatoes fresh, but the big tomatoes, they're in the freezer with some peppers right now, because when we get enough of those, we're going to can up a bunch of jars of salsa. So we have some way to put tomatoes back, because obviously fresh food you got to put back somehow, and salsa is a good way to do it, because hell, you can use it on chips or burritos, or we use it for spaghetti sauce sometimes because it's really good. Mexican spaghetti, go figure. But what I wanted to bring up with that is, kind of what I've been doing here the last couple of days is, cleaning up all those weeds that are out there. All my pea plants, which are now finally totally dead, I pulled up. This is all going in the compost pile. And you should see the size of my compost pile. It's probably 6-7 feet wide. Oh, probably about 5 feet deep and at least 3 feet high. And this is just from weeds and vegetable plants and stuff like that, leaves, any sort of yard waste I get. I know I'm going to tell you something that you hear people say don't do, okay? But I'm going to tell you I do it anyway. I put all my potato plants in the compost pile, and I know you're going to hear tons and tons of people that say don't put your potato plants in there. You don't put them in 2 reasons. First off, if they had blight, my potatoes did not have blight, so no problem there. The second thing is the compost that you make with the potato plants, you don't want to use in your garden that you're going to grow potatoes. I will grow my potatoes next year, because the second set's in the same spot as the first one, in the same garden, my 40 by 24 garden. I'm just going to rotate it all to the other side where my corn is right now, and I'll move the corn over to the other side. That way I will keep from having any disease in there, but I will use all the compost I'm making in the other 3 gardens, so I won't have any potential cross-contamination. So kind of being safe too. You can compost potato plants if you do a hot compost. Okay. And if you don't know what hot compost is, besides cold compost, I can do a video sometime on that sometime. But hot compost is your typical pile everything together, keep the pile moist, turn it about once a week. So you get, when you put your hand in the middle of it, it's about 160 degrees. That's hot composting. Okay. Cold compost is when you're just piling everything up, leaving it there and let nature take its course. If you are interacting with your compost, that you're going for hot compost. So, okay. But this is a good time to start when you're harvesting stuff rather than throw it all away. Use this, use all the plant material that you have for next year's garden. It will do you good. Okay. Compost is one of the best things that you can grow in. I mean, obviously you want to have, if you have the ability, rabbit manure, chicken manure, something like that, cow manure, horse manure, but compost is one of my ingredients, if you will, for my soil. So, if I can make my own compost, then I know there's no chemicals in the compost, so I don't have to worry about that. So, that being said, okay. So, kind of going into the normal, over the weekend, what did they kind of put in the news that, maybe it'll get buried until Monday, and by then something else will be in the news cycle. So, one that I thought was a kind of funny one here. The LA County Sheriff has come out and said that he is not going to agree with Gavin Newsom and will not enforce the new indoor mask mandate. As he kind of put it, he goes, well, that's completely against what the CDC says. And, if we're following the science, I'm going to listen to the CDC and not to Gavin Newsom. Jed, I wouldn't listen to Gavin Newsom. If he told me the sky was blue, it'd probably be a cloudy day. So I just kind of found that funny. You're already starting to see some dissension between law enforcement and the tyrannical governments in some of these states, California being obviously, between Newsom and Cuomo, there's probably your two most tyrannical governors. So that was just kind of an interesting start. Second one that was kind of goes into the videos I did here. The White House came out today, and I mean, well, let's put it this way. It came out late yesterday after everybody was already off on weekends, and admitted that they have been contacting Facebook to flag posts. Okay. So the White House is now officially employing censors for Facebook. So you have now an admitted branch of the government, i.e. the executive branch, admitting that they have come out and they are interfering with A, the First Amendment, and B, with private business. Well, private as much as you get, because Facebook is a publicly traded company. But that government is now censoring on their own. They're not just telling Facebook to do it, to censor. They're telling Facebook specifically what to censor. So that was kind of interesting that, your tax dollars are out there now being spent to shut you up and to shut me up, obviously, as well. Obviously everybody else who's been in Facebook jail, YouTube jail, Twitter jail, God knows what. But the last and most interesting story that came out over the weekend, and this came out this afternoon, okay? If anybody knows who Dr. Robert Malone is, Dr. Robert Malone is one of the inventors of the jab, okay? And he put out a tweet this afternoon questioning why the most jabbed countries in the world are experiencing a surge in cases while the least vaccinated countries aren't. And as his quote said, "This is worrying me quite a bit." Now think about this. This is one of the guys who created this thing, and he's worried about what's going on with it. So, hopefully, a bunch of you guys went to, saw this morning's video that I posted here on YouTube. But if you also had gone over to Rumble and seen the other idea I have, okay. Now, I'm going to let you guys make the decision whether you want to do it. Somebody asked me, could I put together a fact sheet? So if I if it's pouring rain tomorrow and I got nothing that I can do outside, yeah, I'm going to put together a fact sheet. If I have a chance to get work done outside to keep the gardens going, I'm going to do that first. Prepping still comes first before being a rebel. Got to take care of this household first. Start here, move to here, then go to here. But if anybody saw that post, I don't see why that is not a doable, at least kiss my ass response. Okay. It's not our objective, or it's not our responsibility, I guess a better one, to try to enlighten the sheep that are just completely dumb. All right. But if they're going to go around, knock on everybody's doors, they're only knocking on the doors of people that haven't got themselves stuck in the arm yet. And so those people are kind of sitting on the fence. They're not going to go knock on the doors of people that already have, because that's just a waste of their time. So it's people that are sitting on the fence. And if you all have noticed the figures, the numbers for people getting it are going drastically down. That's because they pretty much hit saturation rate of anybody that's decided this was a good idea. And so now they're down to the people that are thinking it's a bad idea. But so if we have the opportunity, maybe you just kind of remind them again why they thought it was a bad idea, because if they just listen to all the speech from one side, maybe listen to the other. And like I said this morning, it's, imagine yourself being in court and only the prosecutor can talk and the defense can't make any sort of case. So, at least if you want to, you can go out and tell the people that have had their doors knocked upon, yes, you've heard that side. Now hear this side, and then you can make your own decision. Okay. But of course, then we get into the fun ones where now you're starting to have people, besides saying make life as difficult as possible for people that disagree with the communist totalitarian party. I guess now you have some people in the teachers union now saying that, this kind of sidebar here, but now saying that anybody that does not believe that CRT should be taught should die. Okay. This is somebody that, comes out of the teachers union fighting for teaching critical race theory, that anybody that disagrees should die. And of course, when she was giving this speech, a whole bunch of people applauded. So this is kind of the Nazism, that we're up against, okay, where you have a whole bunch of people who are so, have their heads so far up in the politicians' ass. It's unbelievable. They'll do and say whatever need be. And I mean, there was even a guy on the comments on today's video who's saying, oh, gee, this isn't a communism versus democracy thing. Yeah, damn straight, this is a communism versus democracy thing. That is basically everything, part and parcel, what is going on in the world right now. You have a group, the World Economic Forum. You have a country, China, that has spent the last decade plus doing everything they can to infiltrate every country in the world, put their puppets into play, so when they throw the switch, the entire world becomes communist. Okay. Well, here's my problem with it. Where has communism worked? Oh, I don't know. The Soviet Union, no. Cuba, no. Eastern Europe, no. I mean, pick a place. Okay. Anybody that's ever tried it, it's failed. And what happens? The people suffer. So here's a great idea. Let's take the whole world and make it communism or communist, so that can fail. So the whole world at once can suffer. Again, remember this, nobody ever voted their way out of communism. Okay. The only way it ends is a violent death. And the only way to avoid that violent death is to never go there in the first place. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as we go forward. But yeah, We got to keep up the good fight, guys. I know y'all are telling me nonstop. I mean, I get emails today. Somebody sent an email today that their husband had uh, shared a comment on Facebook, and that got him 30 days in Facebook jail. We all know where I'm sitting right now. Okay. The liberal social media does not want us to get the word out. And unfortunately, they're being played as pawns. Sure, Zuckerberg and Dorsey, they're all going to come out smelling like a rose at the end. They're part of the communist overlords here. But all those employees at Facebook or all those employees at Twitter, if they think they're the useful idiots right now, okay? Because Zuckerberg, Dorsey, Bezos, any of these guys, he's using all these people as pawns to do all the dirty work. And then when their job is done, they're expendable. It's like, you know what? You're gone. We'll just throw you out to the masses too. And, please, sir, may I have some more? Is going to come out of their mouths too. And they're going to go, but I helped you do all this. And they're going to go, but I don't care. So, get back out there on your knees and, start bowing down to me and do what I tell you. You've been a good little soldier, all doing what I've told you, so here's your apple for the day. Congratulations. Okay. If any of these employees of any of these companies think that they're going to be on the fast track to being, the right-hand man of, whoever, it ain't happening. Okay. They're just too slow on the uptake to figure it out that, like I said, they're just useful idiots. They're pawns that are expendable. And when they're done, just like any other evil mastermind does, they just get rid of them. Okay. Your job is done. Boom, you're done. Out. Goodbye. Don't need you anymore. So there's the fun part for tonight. Stuff to talk about. All right. So we will get into the normalness of what is going on here. And I will say, for all those of you who are new, there are some names in here I don't recognize. So if we've got some new people, welcome to the family. What we do in the live stream here, guys, is usually 45 minutes or so of Q&A after I'm done running my mouth. So what I ask is put all your questions in caps. That way I know they're directed to me. Okay. If you're please have conversations amongst yourselves, ask questions amongst the gallery here, because there's a lot of people in here that know a lot of stuff about things that I don't know about. So, that's the whole point of this family, is to share information. None of us has all the answers, certainly not me. If a question's directed at me, put it on in caps and I will answer it to the best of my ability. If it's for somebody else, just leave it in lowercase. That just makes life a lot easier for me. I go through from top down, start at the top, read as many questions as I can in the hour. If you haven't heard the answer to your question in 10, 15 minutes, post it again. Maybe I missed it the first time, because sometimes the chat shoots me all the way to the bottom and then takes stuff off the top, so I may not see it. If I get your question a second time, trust me, I'll skip it. No big deal. So, all right. The only thing I ask of everybody is keep it PG-13 or better, because I've got the best in the business in here in the way of moderators, between North Shore and Jacob and Lucky Dame Preparedness. They are executioners. There is no second chance. You get out of line one time, there is no 300-second timeout. You're just out. Okay. We keep it clean here. We keep it respectable to everybody else. Disagreeing with me is totally acceptable as long as you do it respectfully. Okay. Just if you want to disagree, prepare for me to back up what I'm saying. Okay. And usually that's going to come with, well, not usually, always, that is going to come with facts. So if you want to disagree with me, you better have your powder dry. But other than that, if you're a troll, my best suggestion would be leave now, because you're not welcome. And if you're a YouTube troll, leave now, because you're not welcome either. So don't care if you want to be a moderator, and make sure that everything is up to my standards, because the only one that matters here, whose standards, is me. Because without all of us content creators, you have no business anymore. So that would be pretty much my say. So with that said, let's shoot to the top and see what we got. So let's see. We'll get up to the top as far as I can. See a whole bunch of hellos. Okay. Jasper's Knoll. Do you ever plant cold weather crops in summer for a fall harvest? I will be this year because Grand Solar Minimum has kind of turned everything on its ear. All right. And here it is. It's the middle of July. I've got huge cabbage plants, but no cabbage heads, because it just got hot too fast. My broccoli bolted in. I have broccoli plants where, the stalk was as thick as a baseball bat, but nothing in the way of heads because it all bolted. It got hot. My cauliflower, my Brussels sprouts, the same way. The plants got great, but I got no harvest out of them because we went from 40 and 50 degree days to 80 and 90 degree days. And there were no, month where you had that 60-ish day and, 50-ish night, high 40s night, which cold weather crops like. So I will be trying to plant some cold weather crops probably in early to mid-August for me. Again, I'm zone 6. So, that'll give me enough time to hopefully harvest by the 1st of November, thereabouts, when my frost date comes in. I'm going to try, as a lot of you guys know, I've been here for 2 years. Okay. So this is my second growing season in Tennessee. I'm still trying to learn the climate. I'm still trying to learn a whole lot of things about growing in this particular area. But yes, I will be trying to grow some of my cold weather crops at the end of the year, because the beginning of the year, last year didn't work and this year didn't work. It's because spring has just disappeared. So I'm going to take a shot at see if I can get it into fall. CKOC, we are officially and openly communist. Yeah, which, like I said in the video, is kind of funny because Joe says, "Oh, communism doesn't work," and out of the other side of his mouth, he's going, "Yeah, so let's implement some more communistic policies." So, his handlers, we all know Joe is a puppet. Joe is not the one running the show. Anybody that thinks he is severely brain damaged. Okay. Like Joe. But notice, like, even the deal with when Angela Merkel the other day, Joe's got an earpiece in. Why didn't Angela Merkel? Is it, because Joe's trying to have German translated, but she speaks English? Yeah, maybe. Okay. I'm thinking it's a lot more that, there's somebody going, Joe, you need to say this now. Remember was it a week or so ago? He's answering a question in a restaurant or a shop somewhere up in Michigan, a simple softball question from somebody. He had to pull out note cards and then didn't even remember which pocket the right note cards were in. He's got some here. I got some here. Joe needs a menu to sit there and make his decision between Coke and Pepsi. So let's see. Vester Dillon, I've used potato vines, rotten potatoes, and regular compost for 40 years. Never had a problem. Yep. That's it. Green potatoes that are going soft. Hey, plant. I put them in compost. Put them in your soil, everything like that. Potatoes are pretty easy to grow, guys, as long as you're not trying to grow it in, concrete like clay soil. As long as you've got somewhat of soft soil, you'll do decent with potatoes. One of y'all sent me an email today. They dumped out a 10-gallon bucket of potatoes and, potato plant, 10-gallon bucket, container garden potato plant, got 12 pounds of potatoes. Nice haul, So there you go. Let's see. Krylon 103112, new COVID strain more deadly came out. What was that? Was it Lambda? I think it was called. I guess this is what some South American variant or whatever it would be. Of course, they're going to say it's more deadly. Okay, it may be more contagious. It's going to come out that it's less deadly. That's the way viruses work. The first one is the strongest. They all get progressively weaker as they go. Could be more contagious, just not going to be as deadly. But the politicians, the media, everybody won't let you believe that, just like they're trying to make everybody panic over Delta, where the survival rate of Delta right now is 99.92%. There's a 0.08 fatality rate. Okay. You've got a better chance of getting hit by the lightning while sitting in your bathtub than you do of dying from Delta. But, it's got to be all over the news because, again, remember, this is a control thing, guys. They want to be able to come out here, and my guess is probably somewhere around Labor Day, just as the kids are going back to school, and go, we've got to lock it all down again. That's the game plan. And they want to panic everybody, going, okay, the kids are ready to go back to school. Everybody made plans, and now we're going to screw up everybody's plans going back to work. This is the goal. All right. South Colorado Stetter, Pinball, Psaki said that the White House flagged 12 people on Facebook, which was equal to 65% misinformation, was coming from China and Russia. Anybody that believes a word that comes out of that woman's mouth is higher than a kite, okay? I mean, when they talk about misinformation coming out, hey, Jen, I got a great idea. Please explain to me why for 6 months you were all telling us that, this wasn't a man-made virus that came out of Wuhan until you had a backpedal, because that's what was proven it was. Okay. The misinformation is coming out of the White House, is coming out of Fauci's mouth. It's not coming out of the CDC, i.e. the numbers I reported, okay, that got me thrown in jail. The lies are being told by the mainstream media and the politicians. It's insane that there are so many people in this country, let alone this world, who still believe the media. I mean, it's dwindling. I mean, CNN and MSNBC's viewership is down 50% for MSNBC and over 60% for CNN from last year. Like I said in the video, some of my videos have had more views than hour-long programs have on CNN. So, that'll tell you how much, people respect the news coming out of CNN. But yeah, the problem with what you say, the White House flagged 12 people on Facebook. The White House shouldn't be flagging anybody on Facebook. The White House shouldn't be monitoring Facebook at all. That's not what a government does, unless, of course, it's a communist government. Those kind of governments monitor people's communications, i.e. the Soviet Union. Let's see. Broussard Homestead, silencing the opposition is tyranny. Yeah. I mean, even the Democrats have got to believe that we are in a tyrannical government at that point. Because, guys, this is a slippery slope. Okay. If they, think about what we were talking about yesterday. If they, or maybe it was Thursday, if they can monitor your instant messages, your texts to, for misinformation about COVID, or if they can monitor your Facebook posts about misinformation about COVID, how much of a stretch is it that, oh, gee, you disagree with climate change? Oh, gee, you disagree with the infrastructure bill. Oh, gee, you disagree with, taking apart the filibuster. Oh, gee, you disagree with the results from the 2020 election. Oh, you disagree with, the color tie that Biden wears on a Tuesday. How much is it, how far of a stretch is it till they just go, unless you say exactly what we want you to say, you're not allowed to talk. Okay. It's not the, if you can't say something nice, don't say something at all. Don't say anything at all. It's the, if you can't toe the party line, don't say anything at all. You know, I said this in a video, oh God, 4, 5, 6 months ago. I said, to hell with the Second Amendment. I said, they're going after the First Amendment. Go back and watch that video. Okay. That's exactly what they're going on. They're trying to kill the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. It's not going to be too long till they take out the Fifth. Sorry, you don't have the right. You don't have the right to not incriminate yourself. If we say you did it, we all know in the last, look at the Derek Chauvin trial, for example. Okay, just as one, just because everybody's familiar with that one. Guilty until proven innocent. Look at Trump's impeachment. Guilty until proven innocent. When the hell did the U.S. justice system start becoming that way? Derek Chauvin, Biden comes in and says, before the trials even started, I'm sure the jury will do the right thing. Well, yeah, but not how you insinuated it, finding him guilty, was completely wrong. What did you have? You had jurors come out and say, we knew we had to find him guilty. Otherwise, the city would have burned. Where's the fair trial? Okay. This is what we got into. Guys, this is mob rule. Okay. That's anarchy. That's what we're heading into, just so y'all are aware of what it is. And look up what happens to any country in history that goes through anarchy. You have utter destruction. Kevin Harris, and they said they are not creating a database of jabbed people. All they do is lie and cheat. Well, we all know that's a crock of shit, because every doctor, every Walmart, every Walgreens, every CVS, anybody who gave out the shot was required to let the CDC know who had gotten it. Now, when Biden comes out and goes, well, we don't have a list. Bullshit. That's one phone call to the CDC and say, send me the list for Union County, Tennessee. Okay, here you go. Send me the list for Clark County, Nevada. Okay, here you go. Send me the list for DuPage County, Illinois. Okay, here you go. Pick one. I don't care where it is. They've got the list. They're not going to send their door knockers to 100 million people that have already got the vax. They're just not. They've got the list. Anybody that believes Biden's a moron. Okay, but anybody that believes that crap really needs to get their head examined. The Roosters. So we need to team up, ride in cars and trucks with megaphone and scream out liars in your street. We have the proof. Feel free to read our pamphlets. I thought it was a lot easier. Don't have to do that. Just if they come knock on your door, tell them no thank you. Go in the house, put your shoes on, grab your stack of pamphlets, and just follow them down the street. Let them go knock on, Mrs. Smith's door. Talk to Mrs. Smith. As they walk down the driveway, you walk up the driveway and go, hi, Mrs. Smith, just wanted to give you the other side too. And then follow them on to the next house. Hi, Mrs. Jones, just wanted to give you the other side too. Nothing that says you can't do that. You have your right to pass out a handbill just like they do. And if anything, maybe it'll get people to listen, or at least think. That's always been my deal. All I want people to do is think. You don't have to agree with me, because like I said, nobody's got all the answers, and what works for me doesn't work for everybody else. But I at least want people to think. It seems to be a dying art in the world anymore. Let's see. Rooster says, we are a republic. We must never forget that. Not a democracy. Yeah, well, like I said, that guy in the email this morning, or in the comment this morning, says, yeah, communism versus democracy. No, it's communism. I corrected him. I said, no. I said, this is a difference between communism and freedom. yes, we are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy as our form of government. Ace Maduro, the tolerant left, laughing my ass off. What an oxymoron. Yeah, yeah. As long as you believe them, as long as you agree with them, they're very tolerant. They'll let you do whatever you want as long as you agree with them. Okay. If you disagree with them, oh my God, we need our safe spaces and we need to burn down a couple of buildings and find a shoe sale on Nikes. Uh, God forbid you disagree with them. Because in a constitutional republic, disagreement is not allowed, right? North Shore Pinball, how long am I in the Who Scout? I'm out sometime on Tuesday, so I'm not. I was going to end with this tonight. I'm not sure, guys, if next Tuesday's live stream will be here or there. Obviously, when I'm out of jail, I'm going back to the main channel because that's where a lot of people know where to find me. I'm still getting emails. Here we are 4 days in going, where have you been? I haven't seen a video all day because, and like I said on Tuesday night, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all the other channels saying, hey, I'm over here. But, we all know there's a lot of people that don't watch every channel or, maybe only watch one or two. And if it's not any of the ones that help me out, they don't know I'm here. So, and it's not like I can put something up on the community board or say, hey, this is what's going on. So it's, word of mouth. Everybody that emails me, I tell them I'm over here, but there's 35,000 people and, 5,000 over here. So there's 30,000 MIA right now. But we'll be back over there probably Tuesday night, I think, okay, as the deal goes, but just check both. I'll be in one or the other for sure. Copper coated candy, monkeypox outbreak in Texas. I saw one person. I haven't heard anything about an outbreak. But again, I was out working all day, so if that's changed, I don't know. CS 183, dozens of fighter jets heading to the Pacific for possible SHICOM encounters. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this for months on and off. We all know that Taiwan is a hotbed right now, and the interesting part is, does anything happen during the Olympics? Not that anybody gives a shit about the Olympics anymore anyway, because what was it, the British women's soccer team is going to take a knee for the national anthem, and the IOC now says that that's going to be acceptable this year. Great. Now you're just going to piss off the world. Okay. Can't have any fans in Tokyo, so nobody cares. The Olympics used to be something of national pride. Now it's for a lot of people national embarrassment. And I feel sorry for some of the athletes who've worked their life, toward this goal. But you get, people like Megan Rapinoe, I'll call her, and they ruin it for thousands and thousands and thousands of girls who had aspirations to do that. One bad apple spoils the bunch. So but get a bunch of fighter jets going over there. Just pay attention on that. While the world's all distracted by one thing, again, don't watch this hand because this one's busy too. Derek Gardner, a trial run on what is happening in South Africa will be coming to a town near us soon. Yeah. If y'all paid attention to what's going on, I mean, they've got massive riots going on in South Africa. And basically, it's all racially motivated. Okay. And that is what the 46 administration is pushing for, critical race theory, everything, if you drive a white car, you're a racist, okay, because it's white. Why don't you drive a black car? Well, I don't know, because I live in the South and they get hot. Yeah, I mean, pick something. It's what was up in Canada the other day? They're talking about renaming. I think it's the longest street in Canada or something like that, because somebody's butt hurt over what the namesake of the street did. When he all sent me an email on that one. I mean, I'm waiting for the next thing on Canada to come out to go. Every white street in the nation is going to have to be renamed. I mean, this is the lunacy of the left. Did y'all catch this one? There is a push in Australia to stop calling shark attacks and call them shark encounters, because it's discriminatory towards sharks, that we're treating sharks like they are, bred to kill or something like that. So it's giving sharks a bad name when we call them shark attacks. They should be called shark encounters. That's how dumb the woke crowd is. Like, you have nothing more to deal with than, playing word games. Okay. It's a freaking shark attack. Okay. Whoops, and there we go. Shot to the bottom. So now I got to scroll to the top and see what's here. Okay. Wendy Blank. Are we at the point that we should be genuinely concerned about Obama's Executive Order 13603 regarding the government can confiscate citizens whatever it deems necessary, i.e. our preps and pews for safety and security? Okay, first off, let me dispel this. Whoever the hell is still spreading this, okay, that is not an Obama executive order. Okay. And if I remember correctly, I think goes back to Andrew Johnson. Let me look it up here real quick. 13603. Oh, this is a different one. Okay. I'm sorry. I will stand corrected on that part. Yeah, 13603, signed March 26th or March 16th, 2012. Okay. But yeah, I remember this one as well. This is only in a time of war that they can do it. All right. And I'm not going to go through and read it, but this, again, it's not like they can come up and go, gee, we need to feed everybody. We need to be at war to do something like this. So I wouldn't overly concern yourself with this. Now, if we all know the Democrats love war, okay, they have this bad habit of, remember, Trump was the first president not to put us in a war since Jimmy Carter. But Biden's buffoonery will inevitably get us in a war with China, North Korea, Iran, somebody, and then it could be where they do that. Now, it's going to be, the government's going to be real hard pressed to sit there and tell everybody, oh, you need to turn in all your weapons because we're at war and the army's short on weapons. Okay. That would be the reason. Oh, you need to turn in all your food because the army's short on food. That's the reason. Okay. And if you go back to like World War II or, Victory Gardens and stuff, the production will go to support the war effort. It's not because, oh, gee, you know what? All the welfare mamas here don't have enough food stamps or whatever, so we need to start giving them all the food that doesn't come into play. Okay. KDS 1069 time. My son is on his way home from the sand pit now. Yay. Good. Tell him thank him for his service when he gets back from another veteran. Yeah, North Shore. Constantine was saying some interesting things about controlling the unjabbed on his stream today. Yes, and again, guys, remember that the laws are different in Russia than they are here. It's good to know because, paying attention to what's going on over there because, our government seems to be following Europe's lead on a lot of this stuff. But there's plenty of yahoos in the US saying, well, gee, we should make life as difficult for the unjabbed as possible. They shouldn't be allowed to go to the grocery store or the shopping center or whatever it would be. Okay. And like I told you the other day, first off, make sure you got enough stuff stocked to weather the storm. And B, you vote with your feet. When the stores are all going, why are our profits down 50%? Well, you're not letting half the population come shop. Well, we can't have that anymore. The stores will eventually do the same thing that the sheriff in LA said is, sorry, we're not doing it. And again, it depends on the state you're in too. If Andrew Cuomo had his way in New York, they'd still be under a complete lockdown. Okay. Same with Gavin Newsom, same with Chicago and Lori Lightfoot or, the witch up in Michigan. If they had their way, the only people that could go anywhere would be themselves and everybody else would have to be, barred, bars on windows and stuff like that can't go anywhere. The red states, DeSantis, Abbott, here, Tennessee, Governor Lee, whatever would be picked up. They're all like, nope, sorry, we're wide open, no masks, no, nothing. We're going about our normal business. So I said, all we're doing, guys, every day is we're getting closer and closer to balkanization. We're going to be three countries. I'm sorry. You're going to have the Pacific, the Mo, Larry, and Curly out there, California, Washington, and Oregon. You're going to have the Northeast, and then you're going to have the rest of the country. And I always love this. It'll never happen because there's no ports. It's like, okay, maybe people need to go look at geography, the entire Gulf of Mexico part, all around Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, there's quite a bit of coastline there for international trade. But hey, if you can't figure out if you're male or female, I sure as hell figure you can't figure out what's land and what's water on a globe. Let's see. Okay, guys, do me a favor. If you're having conversations back and forth in the chat, please don't do it in caps unless it's directed to me. Yeah, Rooster says if they get the first and second, I believe we're toast. Not that I'll sit down. Yeah, I mean, if they push hard enough after the first, if they push hard enough after the first, it's going to piss enough people off to start using their second. If they start a door knocking campaign to come after the Second Amendment, I guarantee you these people that are knocking on the door better be wearing body armor. Rachel Atkins, do I have a satellite phone? Thoughts on him? No, I do not. And I really don't see the purpose of them because if they knock out communications for the grid, the cell towers, whatever it is, the satellites are going down too. So, satellite phone's expensive, and I don't see how it's going to be useful in an SHTF situation. I mean, and I kind of brought this up today is, what will be useful? I mean, CB radio, sure, for a short distance, maybe ham radio, but think about it, guys. We had a solar flare that hit this morning and took out power and took out the internet in parts of the country. All right. And we're just getting started with some of these solar flares. I mean, they get bigger and whatever would be. I think there's, a day where we're supposed to have like 70 of them hit us in a day. Now you start talking, you can wipe out a country, may not be super long, but imagine the chaos in the United States if the internet was down for a day, just one. Imagine the utter chaos the country would be in if the internet went down for 24 hours. Business stops, I mean, teenagers would be suicidal. I mean, just figure there. So, but yeah, and I mean, like I said in the video too, if that something like that happens, you're going to have people on a short fuse going, "Oh my God, it was an EMP. We just got attacked by Russia or North Korea or China or Iran or who knows. We need to respond." You know, and you'll have the media, the CNN's going, "Yes, we got to go after Russia. It's got to be the Russians. It's always the Russians." You know, and Russia's going to be going, "We didn't do anything." you know. But oh, what do you know? We just blew up Moscow. Uh, I mean, that's how dumb, how little respect I have for the politicians because they would jump to a conclusion and do something that's stupid. Aaron Apollo, have I heard from anyone about getting forced to get the jab to keep their job? Yes, I've heard from a lot of people saying their companies are mandating it. I mean, thousands of you guys have asked me for the vaccine letter to present to your employees. I have heard of success stories. Somebody emailed me the other day, said they gave it to friends of theirs, and it allowed them to keep their job and not get the jab. So I'm not going to say it's going to be 100% successful, but as long as it's successful in one place, then it's worth sending out, and, you know, I've heard people that have said they're quitting their job because the company's forced it. I gave you a list of those 14 companies I found the other day. You guys have sent, numerous other companies that have said they're going to restrict it, restrict their employees, that they have to get it. So, but what's going to happen? There's going to be plenty of people who are going to stand up on their morals and go, "No, I'm not going to. I will quit." And like I said before, if you think it's hard for McDonald's to get people to work there right now, imagine the I'm not even going to make up a company, XYZ hardware company, all of a sudden says, "Well, we can't find anybody either." Well, gee, I'm sorry, maybe you screwed up. It's all going to come down to you chase away your employees, you chase away your customers. That's chasing away dollars, and companies do not do that for a long time. They're like, "Holy crap, we got to do something different." So, Rooster, you like my idea about the pamphlets, huh? Wolfang, use your own brain. God, wouldn't that be nice? I would be so happy if about half this country would. I mean, and here's the difference, okay? And I'm going to say this, and there might be somebody in here that's going to disagree with me, but I'm getting the feeling most of y'all are going to agree with me here. Conservatives have a tendency to use critical thinking skills. Liberals do not. Okay. Liberals want somebody else to do the thinking for them because they are completely against personal responsibility. Their answer to everything was, "Well, it wasn't my decision. Biden told me to do it. The teachers union told me to do it." Whatever. So they absolve themselves from any responsibility, where most conservatives will go, "Yeah, I'm not going to do this, and I'm willing to face the consequences or reap the rewards from not doing it." The liberals, on the other hand, it can never be their fault. Never get in a car accident with a liberal. I don't care if they ran a red light and T-boned you, it's still your fault because you shouldn't have been in the intersection with the green light. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I'd love for somebody to disagree with me on that. There's no personal responsibility in the Democrat Party. Somebody else has to make the decision because that's how they absolve themselves of any responsibility. Because, guaranteed when, 18 months, 2 years from now, when people are dropping like flies from this thing, nobody's going to say, "Well, gee, it was my fault because I listened to all the news and I decided to take it." They're going to go, "Oh my God, it's Pfizer's fault. It's Moderna's fault. It's AstraZeneca's fault. It's J&J's fault. It's Biden's fault. It's Fauci's fault." Okay. There's the difference. they'll blame everybody else. And my answer was go, okay, so who strapped you down to a gurney and forced you to do it? And they're going to be like, oh, like, yeah, ultimately it was your decision and you chose to do it. You know, we tried to tell you for 2 years, you didn't want to do it. So, I hope that, nice little satin sheets and that shiny little box that you got there is, going to be comfortable. CB Michael M, CB Radio, we should hook up. Okay, so if you're ever listening, you hear pinball come on, that would be me. And I usually monitor channel 19. Occasionally I'll be somewhere else, but usually I stick around there, kind of hear what other traffic is. I'll pick it up when I'm driving around. Scarlet Brimstone. Can you imagine pinball sitting in jail playing a harmonica? No, because I suck at playing it. I mean, I'm lucky I can play the radio. So sure as hell ain't going to be any musical instrument. Shauna Ark Nanny. CBS did a piece showing 4 states red colored named Pandemic of the Unjabbed. Yeah, I mean, of course they will, because, it's fear tactics. This is what they're using. They're going to scare people and shame people into doing this. I mean, I think I told you guys, I wrote a email to Marsha Blackburn, to Bill Hagerty, my 2 senators. I wrote a letter to Chuck Fleischmann, who's my congressional representative from my district, both my state senator and my state representative, and to the White House, and told all of them, I said, you will never get to 100%. I will never take this no matter what you do. I said, if you force this upon the people of the country or of the state, you have effectively declared war on the people of the United States. I hope you are ready to reap the repercussions. Needless to say, I haven't heard a response from anybody yet, but made me feel better. I sent it. I also sent an email to Roger Goodell of the NFL for the idiotic decision to play that black national anthem again, because as I told him, there is no such thing. But that's beside the point. James Perkison, glad I found you again. Never back down. I don't. Yeah, I may have to create 97 more backup channels, but I will be around as best I can be around. Rooster says, thanks to North Shore TJ 101 for the heads up. We're a bigger family than I ever knew. Yeah, and I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, Prepper Now was in there, Angry Prepper, Lazarick Homestead. God, I know I'm forgetting other people. Rage in the Cage. There were a bunch of people who spread the news, and I am grateful to every one of them to do it, because I miss you guys. I enjoy doing all this stuff and getting the word out. Love hearing what you guys got going on and, sharing information. That's what I want to do here. So, Wolfang, just stay ready for anything. Yep. That's the tagline of the channel. Prepared for anything. Janita White Walser. What are all the explosions off the Florida coast? I do not know. I haven't heard anything on that one. So that'll give me something to look up. Amy Arsenault, what happens if you get monkeypox? I can't answer that one. I am not a doctor. I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. Big Daddy Prepper, it's the woke Olympics. I mean, yeah, this is going to be hilarious because you're going to have people kneeling for their national anthems. You're going to have people turning away from the national anthem, but yet, the funny part's going to be this. You know how everybody whoever, remember Jim Craig at the Miracle on Ice team, wrapping himself in the flag. You remember, when these guys win a track and field event or whatever it is, they grab the flag and they run around the whole Coliseum or whatever. I don't care what country you're from. Okay. What's going to happen this year? Is somebody going to go grab a BLM flag, or, hell, maybe grab an ISIS flag and run around, something. I mean, seriously? I mean, the funny part, I still laugh at this. I mentioned, maybe a few weeks ago, you think about Bruce Jenner on the box of Wheaties, or Dorothy Hamill is still doing commercials now, and I mean her claim to fame was 45 years ago. You know, can you imagine any of these woke athletes having any sort of, was it who's the gymnast, Megan, they're not Megan, what the hell was her name? She's on a commercial right now, Michaela Maroney, and she's on a commercial now. Okay, can you imagine any of these woke athletes? Hey, yeah, I want you on a commercial. What are you going to do? Well, we're going to bash the United States. Cool. Really? You know, I I never thought I would see the day where in my life where so many people hated their country. Michelle Obama made the comment, a few years back, for the first time in my life, I'm proud of my country. And I just look at her and go, hey, Michelle, thanks to you and the bozo that you married, thanks to you, for the first time in my life, I'm not proud of my country. Okay. I'm embarrassed for what we've become. Still proud to be an American. I'm just embarrassed at who represents us. Let's see. Whoops, we just shot again here. Up, and we're at 10 o'clock too. Uh well. Rachel Atkins, what preps do I feel I still need more of? Well, when my solar panels show up next week, I'll be at least somewhat covered there. My my concern still now at this point is running some of the bigger things. Okay. I've still got to deal with my heat issue. You guys knew about that one. And I've got to figure out the water pump, for my well. Those are the things that I've got to cover. Other than that, then I start just beefing up on more. Can I add more food? Can I add more ammo? Whatever would be, because then at least I've got some coverage. Okay. Uh, again, food and protection, and shelter are going to be the most important things. Go back again and think, if I was a caveman, right, which is pretty much where we're going to go back into his caveman times. Okay. What would be important to me as a caveman? I need shelter, and I need food, and I need protection. You know, those are the three things that, you can never have. Well, you can have enough shelter. Okay. But you can never have enough protection, and you can never have enough food. So I will continue to beef up my food supplies, and I will continue working on uh, my perimeter protection here. So that's kind of where I am. All right, guys, it is 10:02, so we ran long a couple of minutes, but I thank everybody for coming on by on a Saturday night. The hour always flies by so quickly, but y'all have a good evening. I will see you all tomorrow in the morning. Have a good one. Pinball out.